Radical.
Welcome to part 3 of Radical Rapid Fire Comment Response for February 7th through February 13th, 2022. Short comments, quick replies. Sean, Joe's anger is about as fake as AVGN's. Yeah, Angry Joe. The key difference between Angry Joe's anger and AVGN's anger, the Angry Video Game Nerd is, well, they're both fake. They're both employing fake anger in their uploads. But people have the wrong idea that Angry Joe is legitimately 4 hours. You're done fucked up, right? People have the idea that he's actually angry about these things. You know, whereas AVGN, people know and understand he's employing fake anger because that's part of the character. But when it comes to Joe, what's even more concerning is he used to supposedly be against corporate commander and the microtransactions. But now he has a Patreon, he has a high tier, and he's completely fine with that stuff. You know, he'll be angrier, give him donations. That'll make him angrier? No, it's fake anger. Tosin Stardom. How about a Battle of the Billionaires Part 2, featuring Vince McMahon Jr. paired with Donald Trump Jr. and Donald Trump Sr. paired with Shane McMahon in a ringside tag match for the ages? Well, the Battle of the Billionaires originally, it had, Bobby Lashley, Bobby Lindsay, is Trump said, I think. He called him Bobby Lindsay. Basically, it was not a battle between Vince and Donald. It was a battle between their chosen wrestlers. One of them was Umaga, who sadly passed away. But you're talking about them actually being in a tag match. That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious, to say the least. But like that kind of thing would never happen. And if it did happen, it would be them choosing wrestlers. Albert Menendez is a hardcore rap fan. That GameStop ma'am can spit. Yeah. I mean, say what you will about she, but tell you what, that rapping is good. Some good rapping compared to especially what's on the radio today. Compared to, let's say, Kodak Black. Yeah, I would definitely put the GameStop ma'am over Kodak Black. Any of you that have heard Kodak Black or that new song where it's kind of like a ripoff of that old Jay-Z style where he has like, the Hard Knock Life for Us? Feels like a ripoff of that. And it was okay for like 30 seconds. It was a big build up where you're like, man, this is going to be a great rap song. And then he's just mumbling. I can't do a Kodak Black, but I was like, how did this guy get on the radio? Give the GameStop ma'am a try for a rap radio. Dumez. Back in the Attitude Era, Shane O'Mac actually really threw down and did a lot of big stunts and did very well. It seemed like he was trying really hard because he was the boss's son. Yeah, when you ever have a situation where you're the boss's son or very close to the boss, then you have to be like the boss's son. But if you're a close friend of the boss, you're always going to have to try harder to get the respect of people. And I think, going coast to coast, freaking, didn't he go off the table off the cage a couple times into a table, It was very obvious that Shane, he tried really hard. He gets gassed in the matches because he just overexerts himself. One thing no one can say about Shane O'Mac is he doesn't actually give a lot of physical exertion in his matches. But here recently, with all the stuff he did with the Royal Rumble, it's the backstage politicking, which is what they call it when somebody's higher up tries to get better positions in matches. That's what people did not like. Red Stratus 97. Yeah, I have similar things with me and my body as well. Since the 2007 revamp, I can't eat Domino's pizza anymore. There's an ingredient in it since that time that I'm allergic to. To this day, I still have no idea what it is. Maybe you could look it up online. Maybe, do they have all their ingredients online listed? Sometimes they change a formula or they change something, and then it's got something in it where you can't eat, and they don't offer the other one also. I haven't had Domino's in a while. I'm not sure. But I tell you, like, one thing I just discovered I can't eat is Pepperidge Farm cookies, specifically the gingerbread men cookies. Maybe it's the ginger in the cookies. I know some people have stated that ginger actually causes them digestional upset, and I isolated it. If you want to isolate something, just don't eat anything within maybe a couple hour period except that one thing. If you want to find out if you're having problems with something, just eat that one thing and see if it makes you want to throw up. Venom Hernandez, rich voice. Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! 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 That was for ringtone purposes. If anyone ever thought, well, I want a Review Tech USA ringtone for whatever reason, you can have that. And you can get these stares of people looking at you as you answer your phone. Stephen M. Maybe he's setting this Phil person up to be the fall guy when the Amico fails. I see it definitely as something like that. That's what I see it as. Because Tommy Tellerico is the kind of guy that whenever there's some success to be had, whether it be actual success or maybe saying that, your music was in certain Nintendo games or whatever when it was not, or trying to make claims. Tommy Tellerico is that kind of guy to try to, to make the claims to get as much credit as humanly possible. So kind of a weird thing for him to step down from all the Amico stuff. Things go sideways, and sometimes people go down with the ship. They take and handle the criticism, and in some cases, they apologize. Tommy Tellerico is not that kind of guy. So, yeah, kind of bad that he's setting up Phil to be the fall guy. But, Phil, of course, was on the board for the, the other scam console or whatever. So, I mean, maybe it's an appropriate ending to this whole story. Which will be called The Fall of Amico, which, I mean, there's going to be many, many, many YouTube uploads based on this. Maybe even a full feature-length movie would be interesting. Who would play Phil? Well, Dr. Phil would play Phil, and who would play Tommy Tellerico? Heck, maybe Tommy Tellerico, he would want to be in the movie. But, unless it featured him in a positive light, he wouldn't want to be. The infamous character. From my Kenwood radio to this radio, my speaker lost its bass. I like the way it looks, but you definitely have to change the speakers in the vehicle to get better sound. Well, here's the thing, okay. If you have a loss in bass, it's to say you have a loss in power, going from maybe the Kenwood radio to the dual radio. The dual radio doesn't put out as much power as the Kenwood, and the sound quality is not nearly as good. So if you have a nice radio, a Kenwood, a Sony, a Pioneer, and you take that radio out and you put in a different radio, it doesn't mean you have to change out your speakers. That's not really how it works. You have to have the power to make the speakers sound better or louder. So that's one downside to that dual radio that I did a review on. Great quality on the DVD screen. Some good features. But I just couldn't live with it daily driver with it not sounding as good as a Kenwood or Pioneer, so that's why I didn't stick with it. 90G. Is Shadow of Mordor infinitely replayable? Well, you said infinitely playable. One reason I chose Shadow of Mordor to feature for so many years here is because if you get to a point and you don't advance in the story, it literally is infinitely replayable. It is a loop. It is a infinitely playable loop, which is entertaining to me, and some people might not be. But yeah, it's a playable loop to where I was like, okay, I need some gameplay for the background of a rad response. I know I could just play this and it fits rad response. Seems to fit that series pretty well. So yeah, I guess at some point I'll get around to, advancing in Shadow of Mordor and maybe completing it. Yeah, I haven't completed it. But I just love the infinite gameplay loop as it is, right? Arioka. Rick, did you ever play Assassin's Creed and Batman Arkham games? I asked because Shadow of Mordor borrowed many gameplay elements from them, and I think you'd like these games as well. I played Arkham City, maybe, I want to say, a couple years after it came out. And I was just stunned and amazed at it, the game. Variety of ways. In so many ways that I can't describe in this radical rapid fire, rapid response, whatever. But I'll say this. They completely nailed it. An open world game where you feel like Batman. From the very beginning, when you're Bruce Wayne, when you're going through and you're handcuffed, you feel like you're there. And the graphics just stunning for the time. I had to check and make sure I was still playing my Xbox 360. That's how damn good it looked. I mean, sure, like looking back now, you can tell maybe, okay, it is a 360 game because I'm looking at the faces and, how the mouth matches up with the voice. But Rocksteady just did such a stunning job with it.